Right. Hello everyone, this is AUI 2000 with my sixth replay analysis. Today I'm going to go over a game that's actually from the Collegiate Dota League, and it's PSU versus U of M. I have no idea what is that. University of Michigan? I don't know what PSU is. Who cares? Anyways, so the environment for this one's gonna be a little bit different. So I want to talk about what you want to think of right when the game begins, because it's gonna be a bit different than pubs where pubs maybe your lineups are a bit different, but I know a lot of people playing like 5 stacks with their friends or whatever. So that should still be useful for them. And you have to have an idea with your lineup and you have to know how it scales into late game. And there are actually quite a few things to consider. So I'm gonna start with this team. So Tidehunter is gonna be really strong in the late game. You know that for sure. So whenever you have a Tidehunter, it almost always means your late game secured. But this hero and this hero are your other two cores, so they don't scale as well. Luna's okay going to late game, but it's really hard if they have anything that jumps on you with a basher, because like any squishy hero without some mobility is going to have a tough time versus say, the PA on the other team. However, you can that means that with the Viper, you want to sort of go for a timing push, you want to break their base by a certain time, or your heroes start to sort of lose effectiveness. But for this lineup, you definitely need an early lead, just because you have a Viper basically. If you don't get an early lead with Viper, you're going to be in a pretty bad place. And Luna's one of the heroes that can sort of close the map just because she farms so fast. So getting ahead with Viper, say you push all 6 of the first towers using Luna and Ravage, you might not be able to break base actually, because they have Veno, Krob. Like these two heroes are really good spammers, so you have to think about how you're gonna farm the map. You're gonna want to be able to take over their jungle, stuff like that. Anyways, I'm gonna start this for this team. You're gonna think that okay, so if the thought of this team is basically if we can shut down this Viper, this team gets 10 times weaker, the Radiant team, because without a strong Viper, I don't think they're ever going to be able to push into Venom wards. It's just too hard. Their heroes won't be tanky enough without that Mech Viper, Mech Eggs early on. And we're going to be able to split up the map, and I think they win late game pretty convincingly, actually. Because like this Titan, I'm just going to need something to take off the global. Because what you do versus Titan as Silencer is you just global and then you just leave him so Kraken Shell doesn't proc. That way you're gonna have you have a time period where you know no Ravages are coming, which is super nice for playing. And we're gonna start this. So I'm gonna say I don't like this build. I think this is worthless. I don't like you're basically relying on getting 100 gold in order to get a Wraithband faster, but you don't really need to do that. It's probably better to just get a Ring of Protection, 2 sets of tangles, and some branches, just because you have this skill, so it's not like you need an early Wraithband in order to last hit. Also, if this team chooses to go aggressive, which I don't know if they are, it's really bad. They won't go aggressive, but like if they chose to go aggressive or dueling, then having this build is gonna hurt you. So one of the things we should note is that this team chose not to save for sentries on anyone. No one has money for sentries except for Viper, which you really don't want to get sentries. So this team just goes in and places a ward. That means that this team's early game is going to be screwed up a lot. Something to consider when you place a ward in the enemy's jungle is that by blocking their camp, you have two. I mean, there are only two real options, right? You can defensive or aggressive if you want to hold a tri lane. If you block their camp and you defensive, you're going to get really far ahead because you have a pull and they don't. So you're going to get a pretty big golden EXP lead. If you can zone out the offlaner properly and then maybe camp one hero mid, they're not able to roam on your mid and you're going to just destroy them that way. And wow, they actually are going aggressive, huh? That's sort of interesting just because Rasta is a shit hero in the early game. He's 285, 1 armor, high mana cost, and he didn't even take nuke first. Silencer's really, really strong. But again, 1 armor. So that means that if they go on anyone but the PA, they're going to lose. And Luna tri-lanes are extremely strong. Venge is really good. I think you should take Howl first. -3 armor is a lot. Plus you have the plus 14 damage. That's really good synergy there. And THD could have taken Dual Breath first. So the... Oh, I need Logos team. You go offline. Anyways, so... The biggest thing here is that this Radiant team basically should have had a gigantic lead just because this Charlene can't do anything to them. I actually believe this Charlene can't touch them. if this team just has Luna Aura, Howl, and Dual Breath or Liquid Fire. I really don't like Ice Path First. I mean, it's not that bad. Ice Path First is all his spells at level 1 are sort of good. It's just that at level 3, I really would want Dual Breath and 2 in Liquid Fire. But if he ends up going 1-1-1, I guess it's not going to be that bad. So on this hero, you probably, if you're going to go aggressive, there's probably the build. Like, their builds aren't that bad. I would like some, like a Ring of Protection on one of the supports. That way they can actually trade hits. Because as one armor, like, you can't trade hits with anyone. But we're going to see how it goes. Veno versus Tidehunters. It should be pretty Veno favored since Tidehunter has boots. Because you just, I don't know, you max forward, you put them here, you press S on them so they don't attack, and you deny your own creeps with them a lot. Mid lane, I think this matchup is sort of a wash. I think Viper, if he gets ahead, he can sort of snowball out of control, whereas Krob can never really snowball against a Viper. But if they play it well, I don't think Viper dominates as hard as people would expect him to. What's going to eventually happen is, like, at a certain level, maybe level 5, Krob can't stay in lane that much, but she's still able to spam out the wave, and then it goes stack the camp or get the runes. And Viper has no way of, like, when Krob spams, it's sort of hard for Viper to maintain lane control at all. Man, I ran out of water in my first bottle already. But anyways, we'll see how this goes. It's tri-lane. They blocked the range creep in front, which is good. So that means that even though this camp is blocked, they're going to keep a decent position. Luna got Orpher, that's good. See, this is where you want, like, Howl, right? Like, you just Howl, and then all is good. Anyways, I think this team's playing a bit scared. I think if the two supports just stood on the side here, and Luna stood here, so they're in aura range, they could just go ham on the silencer. You could push them, if you combine their tri-lane in this area, it's very hard for them to play, because then you can start getting a surround on them. Right now, this team has more creeps though, so it's a bit scary for this team. Just because if they fight them, they're gonna have a creep disadvantage. And they're actually harassing them really well with silencer here. That's not what you have to click on them at the start and see, like, oh hey, they all have 1 armor. We have 3 armor, we have 600 HP on this guy, so armor's not that big a deal. And we have, well, Luna's armor sucks, but she's gonna be in the back. You need to be able to trade effectively with them, because trading regions about, like, can they kill me? See, look at this. They can't kill. Oh boy, Luna's dead. Haha. So they okay. That was after they got cursed twice and stuff. This is frustrating me a bit because it's not going how expected. But I think like it was a decent idea going on, but you need to like immediately before the lane even starts, you need to have an idea of what you're going to do if they're aggressive, and that should be, hey, we're actually stronger than them, especially at level 1. So we should make something happen there. I actually think that was all because of Luna's items, by the way. I was like, it's supposed to be Luna's 5 armor, or even 6 armor at level 2. But she went for this Wraithbound recipe, which really screwed over. So we're going to take a look at the other lanes now. Veno also went 1-2. Honestly, I'm not a fan of this. I think that you shouldn't skill this until you have to use it. Because at level 5, you might want 0-2-3. And then you just put wards down. Nothing happens, and wow, casting. So again, they trade 1 for 1, but Sansa now is +4 int. I think that this build has screwed them over completely. Go check mid lane. The Krob is dominating the Viper. Yeah, I think the biggest thing I didn't mention though there is that Viper went for a bottle rush, so he had 2 branches, he had 46 damage, whereas Krob had a no talisman. And Viper can't put any pressure on, and it's not like he does anything with the bottle. So I think he definitely needed to go that Wraithband build in order to contest this Krobless, because this mid lane is sort of a disaster. And so we've gone through the first 3 minutes of the game, and what I think has happened is that the entire first 3 minutes of the game has been decided completely by items. So these small decisions that you make. Oops, I need more water. The small decisions that you make early on are going to basically control your entire early game. And Dota's sort of a snowbally game in that your early game will dictate what you can do mid game, your mid game will dictate what you can do late game. And I sort of talked about this before, but the earlier you make a mistake, sort of because of that snowbally effect, the earlier you make a mistake, the more important it is to try to fix it. So when Cloud9, when we make mistakes, the first mistakes we'll go over are the ones that we made earlier on in the game. Because even if they seem smaller, like we might get 1 hero picked off, and then we say we could have forced 2 TPs and backed off, and instead we got 1 hero picked off. That mistake is basically the same as like losing 2-3 heroes in a mid game to us. That's how I see it, anyways. Anyways, we're gonna continue here. Not a big fan of this, but it's true he didn't have. It's like, you see, if you have a Bastion against Silencer, that means that your supports also have mana to cast spells. Like whenever he casts this curse, it's supposed to steal 48 mana. Not right. That is not right. What is wrong with me? Yeah, 48 mana. Jesus, 48 mana, and it does 120 damage. If you just howl every time he uses that, you do some damage to him, and you only take one tick, and it's basically a wasted thing for him. Or if you just Ice Path or Dual Breath, anything, you can't Liquid Fire it off. But instead, he has no Bastion, so they're all low on regen. So he's really good by this. So another thing to look at when you're in lane is that how much regen does the opponent have. So if I have 3 tangos and he has no tangos, I should play ultra aggressive with him. I should fucking run up and hit him through the creeps. Like, it doesn't matter if what he's doing, what he just did is really good. He pressured him and then he got to deny. So anyways, because the reason for that is he has no regen. So if I hit him now, he's just gonna get low, and then I can play more aggressive later, or I can force him to back off out of lane. If they have more regen and you have lower regen, you sort of want to avoid these trades. That's a good push out of lane by Viper, you know. But the bottle comes back, and like I don't know, missing a Wraithband, he has 57 damage. It's not good. That is not good. Anyways, so Krob got the rune. This Viper didn't have his boots yet, so that was really bad. I'm gonna go back and look at bot lane, and we're gonna see why this happened. So this is basically just the Dire outplaying the Radiant at this point in the tri lane. Because I think the lane should have been a crush for the Radiant, but instead they're just. Ooh, that Luna. Ooh, that was a bit brave. Oh no, solve, he has a solve. Oh, see, like, if he survives there, then you solve up, and this team would have had to use a lot of their regen, because they would have just traded one solve each. This team used all their mana to do that. Instead, like, plays a bit cocky, dies, not good. And so we should talk about what I want to focus on. I decided this is like when you're behind in lane as a carry, how do you have to play? So you need to click all of them, right? You need to click your opponents always. See how much mana. PA doesn't have dagger and a blink strike. So that means the only way that they can catch you. Okay, he dagger. Okay, you have even more information now. So PA daggered you, and he has a level 1 dagger. So I mean, this will be relevant for this game for about 10 more seconds. But when you see that PA has a level 1 dagger, you know that the only way they can catch you is basically in this lane is if Rasa runs up and shackles you. He has 5 MS on you because he has boots and you don't. But he basically has to be like 600 range away from you. Or the PA daggers in order for you to get caught. So that means you can go up to the creeps, sort of aggro a hero, and bring them back to you. And that way you'll be able to farm a bit safer, get some CS. I think that as soon as your lane starts going to a disaster like this, first of all, you needed to bring out sentries to reward this. Or they need to scout better at the beginning at least. Because not having a pull is pretty disastrous for them right now. And secondly, if it's going this badly, this Crobless, at many points in time this game, was a pretty decent gank. Like she's 380 movement speed right now, but she starts with 280, and I think they could have pretty easily killed her with just one Venge or something. Like you have a clarity, you bring a clarity or something, and the smoke on the chicken, and then you maybe like you go low, and then you just send one support off. You know, it's easier if you have a pull because then you can pull with one support, and you just smoke one support, go, and the other support farms here, and then you show one support, and they're like, okay, they're there, they're just farming it. It's best that the lane is pushed out when you do that because then it's harder for them to walk in to get information. You smoke gank this Crobless, free kill Viper. Viper, when Crobless dies, sort of snowballs. And then the game would be so much easier there. So even if your lane's going badly, you have to think about how you can help with the other lanes. And is this Titan just doing something smart? He knows he's not going to get that much. What the hell is going on? He knows he's not going to get that much top, so he's just stacking Ancient for himself. He's actually doing quite decent top, I would say, considering he started for boots first. He has his arcane boots. He has to go home to heal. This guy, like, this lane is really, really hard for them. So, yeah. The Viper has ulti now, so the gank is even easier now. I think it's something you can consider, especially when the lane's pushed this far out. Because, I want to explain that a bit more. Because, when the lane's out here, you expect to see maybe one hero. Or that's what you can, if the other team's good, that's what you will see. You'll see one hero. Because if the lane's here, then you might see all three heroes. Because you can poke yourself into the side and get a lot of vision. If they're up here, you can't really go over here and skull, or go see them over here, you know? I don't know if that's really explained well, but I hope that makes sense. So you need a lane push before you go for a gank, otherwise it's too obvious. There are exceptions to that, of course, though. If you're, this is only for like trialing versus trialing or trialing versus dueling. If the lane is back here and you're 3v1, and you can have one support sort of zone him, one support go gank. You show your carry and one support, and then it looks, and then maybe the other support even does a low pull. He single pulls, goes here, smokes, runs mid, free gank. They won't know what's happening ever, and then your other support can sort of take the pull over, because the offlaner can't poke in. So a lot of Dota is about like limiting the information your opponent has. And his tower is starting to get pressured. I think it should have been a lot lower by now. I do not like his build. I don't see why you would take 3 and Poison Sting, even though it does a lot of damage, that's true, but I don't know. It does a lot of damage. Like 180 damage hit or something. But like, compared to if you have level 3, 4 wards by now, because you shouldn't take your ulti, I think. A level, like I would take a level 8. If you have level 4 wards, you just put 6 wards here. You can have 2 options. You can either press S and then deny retreats with them and by microing them, or you can just push it in and then maybe you have a tango, so you keep pulling this and stacking it, you farm this and you farm this, you kill this wave, you get super farm of Veno, he doesn't get that much because you're pulling this camp. There's a lot of things that I think he could be doing better other than just having level 2 wards, trying to pressure the tower sort of, his best ring's not on, and Hyde's actually farming a stack during this, and it is also a mistake to be honest. I think if you look at your Anchor Smash levels, so level what is this? Level 3 Anchor Smash is 175 damage. I'm gonna pause it because I want to look mid after. Level 3 Anchor Smash is 175 damage every 5 seconds. So what is that? Like 35 DPS? And level 4 is 225 divided by 4, which is almost 60 DPS. So you go from 35 to like 57 DPS or whatever it is. So the difference between level 3 and 4 Anchor Smash is actually really big. And you need level 3 Kraken in order to not take any damage from the things. So I think at level, you should just save your point. You can be level 6, you go 0, 2, 3, and then you just save your point. And at level 7, you maybe take 0, 3, 4. You actually get Ravage, and then you go here and you do your stack, you hit level 8 from it. Because, yeah, who's level? Is there anyone who's level 7? Viper. Level 7 to level 8 is really easy to get. You see this? It's only 600 EXP. So it's okay to like plan your builds around getting a fast level 8. It's really bad to plan your builds around getting a fast level 9 though, because if you look at the EXP, it's 1200. That's actually double what it takes to get to level 8. So those are some things that you can think of too. Yeah, anyways. So this Veno, he knows he has an empty lane, so he knows Tide is up to something. He knows Tide is 6. He should be telling his team, oh, be a bit careful. You know, this is a communication thing. You need to tell your team, oh, be a bit careful. I'm getting pressure on top lane. And then as soon as Tide shows, he's like, okay, Ravage guy is back. I'm still going to pressure this tower so that, because it's really hard for Tide to stand up now. And, yeah, kill. But anyways, okay, I'm going to go back to this first kill mid. I want to see that. I'm gonna see how they gank. They just straight up smoke. The lane's pretty far in, but they don't really have that much information on the supports, even though he has night vision. If PA is playing defensive like that, maybe you can warn them. You need to tell your mid the supports are missing, but instead they get a good wrap, get a free Viper kill. Anyways, that's that. They get a good ward down. You probably shouldn't place the ward like running through the wagon and casually placing it, especially when someone's dead, because this Viper should always be looking there. or like clicking enemy heroes. But anyways, okay, let's go to this. So how you should think about ganks. The second set of words is probably the most important set of words because that's when ganks become the most effective, I think. The first ganks, or sorry, that's when so the first gank is usually a smoke. The second gank is going to be at night, like if you can time it between 7 and 8 minutes. The first words have expired, and you might be able to sort of know where they place their second set of words just by because their supports are easier to keep track of. Before the minute spawn, like the words can be anywhere basically. They can place 2 rune words, they can place a lane word, they can place like a side word, and you won't see it unless you do something crazy. So like second set of words, if you can keep track of them. So the Saracen might not have known that they had no word stop, but these guys didn't buy their second set of words. But he knows that both the supports have stayed in this side of the. God damn it, Volvo. Because both sides of those supports have stayed in this side of the map. So if he was really smart, I don't think he's this smart by the way. I just don't. But if he's smart like that, knows he can check this rune, and then his Venom's getting pressure on top, so he can just wrap around behind him, and that's what he does. So this is actually a really good play, in like theoretically what he did. I think what he did was still a good play, but I don't think he. I don't know. Maybe he did mention it. Maybe this guy's just that good. Viper comes. You should have at least have a TP. Huh. Viper might. If Krob. Oh, he had no mana. Okay. Probably enough for 1 nuke there. Yeah. Anyways, they forced 2 TPs and they trade a Veno for a Tide. Ideally, they would have a TP just TP out. I'm not the biggest fan of this build. I think this skill's quite nice to have. Maybe not always, but anyways. So, whoa. So anyways, while this is happening, as a carry, this gank by Rasta is actually really cool. I think there's probably execution flaw, or like you have to know how strong you are. Because if PA was 6, I think the gank would have worked, but she's not, so you can't go for a gank like this. Because Luna has strength treads, she's actually pretty tanky. But as soon as you get some pressure here, you force some TBs, you're like, oh hey, I can gank their carry, who's maybe playing a bit overly aggressive for a bit. Oh, okay, let's watch this. So you need to hex first, because if he hexes first, oh, watch. He actually gets. I think he actually gets that hex before he gets Eclipse off. And then this Luna's dead. What's happening? Hex him. Okay, if he hexes him there, he gets another dagger and then Luna dies too. Maybe. Instead, I think he still gets him, but... No? Is he Jukerino? Is he Juke Master? Oh, these are some sad-ass Jukes. Alright, you know what? This Rasta fucking knew. He knew that if he waited, his Sansa would come and eat him, and he would get +2 int. That was just next level. But the biggest thing to take about that is like the biggest thing to take away from that was that they forced him top with this gank, and then since they knew they were going to force him top, the Rasta could already move to prepare to set up bottom, and that's a really high level gank. That's something really cool you can do. But that's only like you're basically relying on the enemy team to have good information, because you have to rely on the fact that they're going to go hope the Tidehunter. If you're playing a pub, they might not help the Tidehunter. You have to actually see the enemy heroes. So anyways, there's smoke going down. Sansa's actually level 6, so they're global. They're pretty sure on bottom. They have no Eclipse, and PA is actually level 6. I'm so sleepy. So yeah, I am sleepy. Someone in my chat tell me how long I've been doing this replay analysis, because I feel like this game's actually pretty good, and I want to divide it into 2 parts. So I'm gonna do this game twice. But anyways, we got the global off a tiny bit late. They're all coming in. You have to get out. So when you break a jungle like this with the smoke, this is incredibly risky, especially since we opened this up. They're actually ahead by 2,000, which is, it's not a giant lead, but it's significant. When you like go for these smokings, as soon as they fail, you can't, like, there's a mentality issue here basically, because they went for a smoking, it failed, and they're like, oh, we need to get something out of this. Sometimes you just have to cut your losses, because I don't think anyone saw them, but like PA is playing really defensively bottom, Veno's being Veno top. You can just ignore like this part of the map basically, but PA is playing defensively bottom, sort of, then and then they get seen, then you need to just get out now. They don't get out. Rasta save your body syndrome. He tries to save him. No, he's dead too. I think. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. And Krob actually doesn't have ulti, which I think is a mistake. It wouldn't have mattered there, of course. And by doing that, we're gonna see this. They had a 1200 gold swing, 1200 XP swing. The grass are gonna come straight back up. Straight back up. They're not there yet. And Viper got his mech. So on paper, that's all you like. The EXP and gold swing is you lost 2 supports, whatever. But no, Viper got his mech, and look at their lineup. Their lineup is scary. Like I mentioned, they have to sort of shut down the Viper early, otherwise it's going to be really hard to defend stuff. Because once he has mech, they have a Jakiro for Liquid Fire, they have a Luna Aura, they have a Venge Aura, How, and they have a mech. And even though you have all these Venom wards and Krob thing, it's still going to be pretty hard. I think if the Venom plays super well and gets to defend everything, then you're going to sort of limit how many towers they can kill or how fast they kill them, but then you don't have a Venom pressuring, which is sort of unfortunate. But now Venom has his own mech, which is good, because he did really well top. So I don't mind the PA going Battle Fury this game. I think it's always like decent. I think Battle Fury, like if you look at the stats on Battle Fury, I think it's just a good item. I really don't like the phase boots, to be honest. I think phase boots are sort of a weird item to get on PA. They don't make much sense. Oh, so you use this dagger on something else, you know? If it's a high level play, you know, you dagger something else so that he thinks he's safe, and then boom, you go on him. That would have been legit. But I think he just got a creep. But it was a good gank by them, again. Let's see, did they smoke for that? 335 MS, 350 MS. Nope, they just walked around. So we can see, even in this, like, this is a pretty high level game, right? Like, all the players are probably below 5k. They're playing for the universities. There are no wards out for Radiant. They just have no wards out at 12 minutes. They missed the second and third set of wards. That's pretty bad. Anyways, so one of the things that you should also talk about with this gank is they sort of, it wasn't quite like this, but a lot of times when you gank someone like a Veno or something, as soon as these heroes show here, you as Luna need to be like, they're gonna gank me. Because you just showed 3 heroes top lane. So that means all your strength is on this side of the map. And you're all alone here. So this is sort of different in that they're already going for it. But a lot of times what good players will do is like, hey, they're ganking my guy top, instant TP to bottom. And then you kill the carry. You instantly TP 2 heroes here, you smoke, kill the carry, take the tower. And the Krob's actually rotating, so we'll see if we actually get this tower here. And the Veno actually got them all low. So Veno should be communicating, like, they're all low. They cannot defend this tower. It's impossible. And these guys should take the tower, and then they should keep going. They should farm the enemy jungle, because, they're, like, look how long they're healing. They're still healing. This wave should be dead. This camp should be dead. This camp should be dead. This camp should be dead. And I think Veno or someone else could defend a mid. And you would have got, like, let's see how much. So you would have got 2 extra waves, I think. 500 gold, 600, 750. I think that would have been like 850 gold. That's an extra 850 gold instead of just, they're just sort of walking around now. The pressure mid, like, it's sort of hard to do just because, you know, there's a mech Viper there. Power's pretty high, you don't have Krob out. No reason to go for something like that. Krob got his Yo Setter, which is really nice. I need to check my book.
Double damage.
Yo, my Facebook. Alright. Sorry, I have plans later today, so I had to see when I was meeting. Anyway, so they're sort of like, you see, this camp should already be dead. These 14-minute camps should all be dead. Why is this blocked? But wait, I'm gonna check. Alright, spawned. Okay. Anyways, those camps should all be dead. So that would have been like 850 gold plus minus like 150 gold for the enemy team. So you have some, that's 1,000 gold swing right there, and it's really easy to do. Anyways, they dropped wards in this. What I predicted was that this team, Radiant team, was going to be the ones pushing. Apparently it's not like that. Apparently it's really hard to fight into Rasta wards and Krobless and Veno wards. So I think I actually looked at this game wrong from the beginning. I think I'm willing to admit that completely. But I thought that if this team didn't stop this team from snowballing early, then it would be a really big problem. Which actually maybe not, because this Radiant team actually did sort of get stopped early compared to what was expected. Because Veno got too many levels as a sort of side laner compared to as what he would be as a sacked offlaner. So even though this tri lane didn't, like because this tri lane did so well and the Veno did so well, the levels are too high on the cores. This PA doesn't matter, it's just these two basically. The levels are too high on the cores and it's really hard to fight into them. Usually with this Luna, Tide, Viper lineup, these 3 cores, you would dominate a lot of the mid game.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Anyways, as soon as Crawlbolt is down, this is sort of a cool move. Crawlbolt down, fucking let's go. Let's go, 70 seconds still. We have Ravage, we have Mech, we have Jakiro. They don't have Rasta Words too. I actually think they could have done a swung here, broken, and maybe like or something. I don't know. What they're doing is fine. They're just going for a top push, but now they have Rasta Words. Probably set up to defend. It's a bit scary to do this. Maybe they catch on. Oh, Tide actually has Blink Ravage. How? Boom, swap. Oh, good silence. Good global, good global. He got the wards off. This is really scary. This is really scary. You need to get the hell out when you can. Okay, solo Ravage on Silencer. That was cast in the wrong order. He is dead still. Viper's dead. They forced a Krob ulti. They went 3 for 2, and both teams use all their ultis. PA is... Oh, PA actually TP'd. So I'm gonna go to PA for this. The PA is bottom right now. We're gonna see. Okay, so he's TP's at the global. We're gonna see what PA did this fight. PA backs up. She's there. So what this PA TP did was it gave them 1 extra kill on the Jakiro, a level 7 Jakiro. If he stayed bottom, we're gonna compare that to what he missed. And I'm just gonna pretend he's not gonna pressure the tower at all. So he missed 1, 2, 3, 8 creeps. I would say 8 creeps and 3 jungle camps. So he got 1 kill on Jakiro, which is nice, but you missed some pressure bottom. Actually, I think it's 13 creeps and made 2 jungle camps plus a DD rune. Potentially Roshan off that. Like, you need to be very careful when you TP into fights with the carry. Especially someone like PA who, if the fight's going badly, it's not that bad to join the fight a bit later. If the fight's going really well, it's... I'm not trying to criticize the TP because I think every carry would have TP'd there. I think they should have. Because you don't know the fight's gonna go like that, you know? It's sort of chaotic in that situation. They got your Rasta barely got wards off, you know? You got a good global off. That's a good TP. What I want to learn for this isn't sort of a critique of this situation specifically. It's in the future when I TP, do I know how much I'm going to lose out of the TP? Is it worth it to TP? Because if I could predict the future and say instead if I TP, I will kill the level 7 Jakiro, then no, I'm not gonna want to TP. The reason this TP is good though is because it ensures your team safe. By TPing there, he made sure that they couldn't turn around on the scrub list here. He made sure that it made the team it easier for his team to play. So there's a difference between weighing efficiency and weighing like risks. Because right now this team, they're ahead. For sure. They're ahead. How you want to play or how you want to think about the game is you need to examine your lineup and be like, do we need to crush them in order to win the game? If you need to go for the crush, you need to stay bottom. Because that's the crush, you know? You kill 3 of them, you lose maybe 2 heroes, you make them use Ravage, and you still kill them, stuff like that, blah blah blah. And you get maybe like most of their tower, you get extra ways in your PA, your carry doesn't have to come to a farm. If you win a fight 4v5, and you also split pushing, it's usually a crush, even if you trade even in a fight. So, but like in a game like this where, you know what, I don't think I lose that game. You know what, they have a fucking Viper core, they have a Luna core. They're not that good late game. Venge is really good, but I'm not convinced that Venge is going to be more useful than Silencer, who's also a support, who's quite good late game. And Veno is scary. People think Ty's scary late game. You know what, Veno's scary late game. And Rasa is Rasa. You know, he has a Hex. It's good. So like, I'm gonna go. The PA might be like, I'm gonna go for a safe play, and this is something you actually have to think about before it happens in game, because there's no way anyone can go through this thought process in game. It's so hard. This is something like people talk about how Dota has learned a lot through experience. I believe that too. Like you basically play Dota based off your experience. You don't think as much in game, or pros don't think as much in game as you think they do, in my opinion. They think about a lot of things, but not stuff like this. This stuff should all pretty much be thought about pre-game or like during downtimes in the game. Anyways, we're going here, blah blah blah. Wait, fuck. Let's just pause. Did they load? Okay, never mind. Anyways, so the Radiant team's like, you know what? We caught the Rasta, and we couldn't win that team fight. How can we win this game? I think that when you have a team like this, your two cores are ultimate based. You have to basically play around your cooldowns. So whenever you have cooldowns up, if you're behind, you basically your cooldowns are up. You're gonna go for an objective or a gank. You have to. It's called. I call it objective Dota. So, or cooldown based Dota. And this team also pretty cooldown based. So that means that if you can force them to waste the ultimate and go for a fight with all your big cooldowns, you're either gonna have a free team fight win or you're gonna be able to take a tower. So a lot of these games, like there was one meta where you're basically just picking like Tidehunter, Enigma, you know, the Panda, anything with a big ultimate, and you press R, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So in those team games, the biggest thing was like big plays to force out enemy ultimates without losing anything. And if you could do that, you gained a really big advantage. I have to be at the mall in 30 minutes from now. So I'm going to talk about this for 5 more minutes. I don't think we're going to find out the conclusion of this game. You guys want to know the ending to this game? Guess I'll just skip ahead to the end. But no, I'm not, because I'm gonna go back to this replay, I think. I'm gonna do this one again. So anyways, blah blah blah. So they have all their ultimates up. And sorry, I should say this also. When it's big ultimates versus big ultimates, it's basically whoever gets the initiation wins. That's how the game works. That's why vision is so important. That's why I think other things like that are so important. This crop has a BKB, so it's a good time for them. They smoke around behind, they catch out the side, and they misses. Oh, Kraken shot does not proc very fast. Oh, he just barely. Oh, that was so unlucky though. But it wouldn't have really mattered, I think. Yeah, I think it actually would have mattered. If the global had popped right, like the global popped right after his Kraken shell popped, and he also sort of missed the ice path. Oh, if he got this Ravage off, if Viper didn't walk into this ulti, I think it would have still got crushed this fight because there's a BKB Acropolis. Good stuff. Anyways, so that's what I mean though. Like if you're out of position a bit in these big team fights, you're gonna lose. And the game got really hard because Acropolis got BKB, and I don't see them fighting against that, to be honest. Luna is extremely poor from what I know. Acropolis is just extremely fat. What? Right, this is something to talk about. You just won a team fight, you're excited. Yeah. But your biggest hero is somewhere else. You don't have any ultimates. So this is basically an example of you're a cooldown based team, but you're not playing around your cooldowns. Because this team knows they need Acropolis out, they need Veno in order to win TAs, you need Global Silence. But the other team has a lot of spells, and sure you kill him, but imagine if Ravage Guy was there a bit earlier. Now it's just not good for them. That is just not good for them. That's pretty well played by the Radiant, honestly. But so that's like that's an overextension. That's how a lot of overextensions happen, you know? You're really happy you had this nice fight here, and one guy knows he's supposed to go farm mid, he's supposed to farm top, pressure there, farm your jungle, stuff like that, and then you get over confident in yourself and you just go ham. and Ravage Guy goes ham on your team. He had an option there to just kill the Luna and get out there, I think, though. That could have been a good gank. It's sort of a cool gank. Dota's pretty complicated in that the fact that going for that Luna kill, if it was executed a bit better, that could have been really good for them. So they could have got that Luna gank and then got it out, and that would have been amazing. So anyways, I'm done my replay session for this game. I think I'm going to actually return to this game and cover a bit more the mid late game because I like this game. I think this game is good. This was about half to go. But anyways, that was my 8th, 7th, 6th replay analysis. I'm very sleepy right now. Don't judge me. And thanks for watching. Please leave a comment on YouTube. I'll put information on how to submit replays in my YouTube. And yeah, like the video.
Roshan
Blah blah
has
blah.
fallen to the
Thanks for watching.